Hi Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps and welcome to another Stamps in the Mail Club tutorial. This card uses the Painted Petals stamp set, which I also call Painted Blooms, so lest you get confused, it's Painted Petals in the catalog, but either way it's a great stamp set. So anyway, for this card we're going to do a fun faux watercolor technique which uses some spritzing and gives you kind of a cool misty watercolor effect. So let's get started and I will share my tips for this technique with you. We'll get our pieces out, and for this card we're going to go ahead and fold our crisp cantaloupe piece and then go ahead and set this aside because the main part of our card here is the watercolor paper, and we're going to do sort of a faux watercolor effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my Stampin' Mist. I'm going to do it off camera so I don't wet my whole spot. Well, I guess you kind of want to see, right? Okay. So let's do this. I'll put my whole towel down because actually you want this to be pretty darn wet. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it, and it dries like super fast. It's pretty well saturated. We'll get rid of the towel. And then what I'm going to do is grab my flowers from Painted Petals, ink them in Rich Razzleberry, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp here on my paper. We'll give it a couple stamps. Alright. Then I'm going to spray it again so that I can get some of that ink to run. And I'm going to lay it on pretty thick actually. Alright, and you can see that the watercolor paper is a great medium for this because it really helps to hold the color in place. It only gets like a minimal kind of running effect. So you don't want to tilt it straight up or you'll get color like running down your page. But we're going to go ahead and leave that, and then I'm going to add the stems here and go ahead and ink these in pistachio pudding and stamp the stems here on my flowers. There we go. So we have some color. Alright, so now you can see kind of as this continues to dry, it's spreading a little bit more. So I'm going to set that aside so that we can come back to it. I have a piece of the pistachio pudding cardstock here. This is one of the retiring colors. I'll be sad to see it go on June 3rd. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp You Are Amazingly Amazing. Oops, I didn't mean to stamp it in green. But here, let's stamp it in Rich Razzleberry on the other side. There we go. So now we have our Rich Razzleberry here. And these stamps are all from the Painted Petals stamp set, which is included in Stamps in the Mail this month. And then I'm going to go ahead and, while this is continuing to dry, because really who wants to wait, I'm going to go ahead and layer my butterflies. This is the Elegant Butterfly and the Bitty Butterfly. And I find that a piece of the Stampin' Dimensional edge piece here is just about perfect for putting on the back of the butterfly. So I have a crisp cantaloupe butterfly and a Rich Razzleberry butterfly. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop some snail adhesive here on the back of my ribbon. Oh, it'll stick better if you do it on the paper or on the table surface instead of on your paper piercing mat, so that I have my ribbons layered. And then you can choose to do this one of two ways. You can choose to go ahead and chop it off, or you could choose to go ahead and wrap this to the back. If you do wrap it to the back, my advice is to go ahead and tape it, like with a piece of Scotch tape or something like that, because the burlap ribbon doesn't like to fold very much, so it will want to pop up all the time. Then you're going to go ahead and stick this down with a Stampin' Dimensional, add your butterfly here with a Stampin' Dimensional, and then mount on your card with Stampin' Dimensionals, and here you have your finished faux watercolor effect. And like I said, the more you spray and the more you let it run, the more faux watercolor you'll have in your project. So thanks for stamping with me by mail, and if you still need a kit this month, let me know.